Hello, 8th graders. Today's lesson is on gratitude, and it is National Poetry Month. So we're going to write a little poetry. You guys tell me that you hate poetry, but I secretly think you like it a little bit. And so we're going to try to write some today. The first thing I want you to think about before we get into what you're going to do for the lesson is, what does it mean to be grateful? What does it look like when someone is grateful? And what does it mean to practice gratitude? And why might we practice gratitude? Why would people do that? So that's going to kind of guide your thinking today as we go through this lesson. The first thing that I want you to do is to make a copy of this doc. So my doc will be view only, and you guys are going to do file, make a copy, and title it with your name. So student, and then the name of the assignment, Poetics of Gratitude. And then you're going to work in your copy, okay? The reason why I gave you my copy is I wanted you to just have an idea of what it is that we're doing. So we're going to start our brainstorming for this poem by writing a couple of lists. So there are several lists that I have in this doc that you guys are going to make on your own for yourselves. And the first list is the top 10 things that you are most grateful for. So you can see I've listed my 10 right here. And then the next one is 10 things that you're grateful for that someone else might not expect. So 10 things you're grateful for that someone might not guess that you would be grateful for. So you're going to come up with 10 more things here. A third list, 10 things that your friends or family might be grateful for. So you're going to try to put yourself into your friends and family's shoes, into their heads, and what they might be thinking about, and jot down 10 things you think that maybe they would be grateful for. The next 10 list and last 10 list, I like this one, is 10 things that might deserve more gratitude than they get. So 10 things that you think maybe are underappreciated or are not recognized like they should be. So you can see on my list, I said toilet paper, even though it finally seems to be getting the recognition that it deserves. And I also said butter, because what does butter, butter makes everything taste better. It's really very underappreciated, all the different things that butter can do. Shoelaces, there's just tons of little things that don't get the gratitude they deserve. So you're going to make another list of 10 there, okay? When you're done with your list of 10, then I have 2 poems that I'm going to have you read. And I want you to read those poems, think about those poems, and then you're going to do just a quick response to them in the same doc where you make your list. So I'll scroll down to show you. I'm actually going to read you both poems here in a second so you can listen to my read aloud or read it on your own. I've linked the poem right here. So if you click on that, this link is going to take you to the poem. Same thing for the second poem I have here. If you click this link, it will take you to the poem. So you can read them as well as listen to me. You see, I gave you a couple things I want you to answer about each poem. And so right below in your copy of the doc, the highlighted portion, you're just going to give a 3 to 5 sentence response responding to the things I've asked you about that have to do with the poem. Okay. All of this is kind of just prep and a warm up to get you thinking about gratitude, to get you thinking about being grateful and all the different things that can mean. I think especially in the situation that we're in right now, it's helpful to think about the things we can still be grateful for, even though so much has changed. I also gave you guys, because your last task, you can see right here, says using the list that you brainstormed, write a poem thanking the objects and people you're grateful for. especially if you believe they haven't yet been thanked. So if it's something you feel like you've underappreciated or someone in the past, you can write this poem to them. I gave you, or I'm going to read to you the 2 sample poems because I know when we do writing lessons, when we're in class, we often talk about copying a poem and how it's good to copy a poem and just put your own experiences in there, your own thoughts, your own specific things you're grateful for, but copy the style that the author uses. So I did a sample poem here for you guys that you can copy my style, or you can copy either one of the styles of the 2 poems that I'm going to read to you. Or you can do your own thing with your own stanzas and number of lines. I am not giving a stanza or line requirement here. If I feel like you didn't put very much effort in or you did the bare minimum, then I'll talk to you one-on-one on your own. But I want you guys to be able to just be creative with this poem. Without me giving you a specific length. Okay? So I'm going to go back up. And you guys are going to write your poem right here also in the bottom of the doc. So right underneath where it says using the list, write a poem thanking, you're going to put your poem in here, just like I have mine here at the bottom. Okay. So let me read you the first poem. It is written by Catherine Pierce, and it is called Enough. Enough. I got here through no talent of my own. I did not birth myself or even will myself into being. One day I was a cluster of cells. One day I was a heart. One day I was a human in the world. Now what? Look at the luck I was given, born into a place with a hot yellow sun. Born with 2 nimble hands, a strong enough voice. If I'm not shouting down cruelty or at least singing all the time, what am I doing? If I'm not building a table or holding a child or slicing tomatoes warm from the garden I've weeded myself, what am I doing? I bought these electric blue flats, suede. I did it because it made me feel a little happy. That small dopamine hit that comes from picturing yourself looking like someone wants to look at. But how absurd is that? How flimsy. I've never learned to change a tire. My music theory is abysmal. Sometimes I don't realize it's snowing until there's already a dusting on the driveway, which is certainly close to excuseless. But I swear I'm mainly paying attention. I swear I'm grateful at least a dozen times a day. If I could cradle the earth in my hands for 10 seconds, I would, just to show it how tenderly I could hold it, how I wouldn't drop it, how I cherish it even as I'm turning in early instead of going out to see the Perseids. I've always loved a carnival. Is it enough to love a carnival? I could ride the teacups all day. That shriek that comes from spinning, the one that unfurls from somewhere deep, below the throat like a bright streamer, it's language. It translates into thank you. Catherine Pierce. And the second poem I'm going to read you guys is called Those Winter Sundays, and it's by Robert Hayden. Sundays, too, my father got up early and put his clothes on in the blue-black cold, then with cracked hands that ached from labor in the weekday weather, made banked fires blaze. No one ever thanked him. I'd wake and hear the cold splintering, breaking. When the rooms were warm, he'd call, and slowly I would rise and dress, fearing the chronic angers of that house. Speaking indifferently to him, who had driven out the cold and polished my good shoes as well. What did I know? What did I know of love's austere and lonely offices? Okay, so I want you guys to read the prompts that go with each of these poems. For the first poem, Enough, the prompts were, what do you think the theme of this poem is? So what do you think her message is she's trying to get across to the reader? And what are some sensory details she uses? So tiny, specific details to help you use your 5 senses to picture what is happening. One example, if I flip back really quick, is where she says she has electric blue flats. So she describes not just, she doesn't say, I bought blue shoes. She makes those shoes specific by saying they're electric blue flats, and you can picture them in your head. Second poem said, who is the author speaking of in this poem? So who was this author, Robert Hayden? Who was he writing to in this poem, or who was he speaking about in this poem? And then why do you think the author failed to be grateful for this person? So what was the author missing, or what was stopping him from being grateful to this person he's now writing to? So once you guys have thought through those and done that, then you'll be ready to start your poem. And you are going to turn in your whole copy of this doc to me on Tuesday's assignment when you're done. It's not due till Wednesday at midnight, but you're going to turn it in to Tuesday's assignment when you have it complete. Okay? Other work that you have for today is just your 30 minutes of reading. There is no red ink. And I hope you guys get out and enjoy the weather and have a good week. Enjoy your family time. And I will be on Google Hangouts today from 1:30 to 1 to 1:30 if you guys would like to join. Talk to you later.